Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today's another question for gamers. And this one, I came across this question on Twitter and it was quite popular. I didn't pose the question. It was a buddy of mine, RetroGamingDev, who has his own YouTube channel. I'll put the link below just so you can check him out. He likes to post a lot of questions on Twitter, and most of them are retro gaming related. And this one was interesting. This is the question that I'm sure a lot of people who've collected stuff a long time ago run into this problem. Well, I guess what he's saying is, what is your retro gaming regret? And that could be anything from, throwing out, selling, getting rid of, what have you. So most people were answering in that kind of fashion. There's also someone else who was posting on this one as well, and he is Joey Image. He's a retired pro wrestler who also is into retro gaming and geeky stuff, as it says on his page. He chimed in on this a lot and was really getting into the conversation, and he started to spark interest in doing a little bit more than just a post. And I thought, hey, why don't I just do a video on it as well? And so he jumped in and said, I'd like to be involved, and so did RetroGamingDev. So I said, hey guys, send some videos, and I'll include them in this video. So not only will you get my 2 cents on the topic, but you'll also get their 2 cents. So I'll play their video, but first I'm just going to give you mine. Now, it's a tough one because I probably have a bunch of them. I know one of them was talking about the boxes and stuff, getting rid of boxes, which I've done. So, it kind of sucks. Also, when I was younger and I got my Nintendo and stuff, I got rid of my Commodore 64 and my Intellivision and all the games, except for, a small handful of discs. I kind of regret that. But that's not my biggest regret. My biggest regret was not watching my stuff when I moved. I've moved quite a few times in my life, house to house, apartment to house, and I always would drag all my stuff, all my man cave stuff, if you want to call it that, all my video games, my toys, and all that stuff. I'd always bring it with me. And on one of the moves, I don't know, I guess I wasn't paying attention, but an entire box went missing. I don't know. I have an idea what happened, because I remember we were driving on the highway. I had all my boxes in a pickup truck, and I don't think I spent enough time making sure they were secure. And at one point, I saw video games on the highway, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I realized that the lid blew open, and the video games were flying out of the truck. And so I pulled over. I think I was able to salvage some of them. But an entire box somehow just got lost. And I don't know if the entire box flew off the truck, which is a possibility, if I left it behind or what. But this box was all my boxed Atari games, complete in box Atari games that I bought off the shelf, and ColecoVision games. I bought a whole whack of boxed ColecoVision games. Games complete in box with manual, tons of them. And from a thrift shop. It was one of those auction things, where you have to put in the binder, you bid on it, and I won. And it was like amazing. There were amazing games, all gone, all of them. I wish I took better care of that because, when you move, you're kind of always in a, you're trying to get your boxes, you're trying to, move your stuff around. So, usually you get to the point where you've just lost all your stuff. Or you get to the point where you packed it so well that you don't know where you put it. Or you just forget it entirely. So I wish I was a little more organized before I moved. But, that's in the past now. They're all gone. Nothing I can do about it. I don't have a whole lot of box games anymore. Most of my box games are in television stuff. I have a few Nintendo. But losing those ColecoVision really, that really sucked. I got some cartridges and stuff, but, it just really sucks that I lost the boxes. Anyways, yeah, so that was my biggest retro gaming regret. So let's listen to both Joey Image and RetroGamingDev and see what they have to say.
Hey guys, Jillian is here to talk about my retro regrets. I gotta tell you, when I was a younger kid and I used to buy NES games, I would beat them. First of all, I would play them to death. I would beat them usually within a day or two, and then complete in box, instruction manual, the little Nintendo sleeve, the game itself, the box, everything. I would sell it to a neighbor that lived 3 houses down. His name was Greg. He was an older guy. He was more of a friend of my parents than myself. But he would then, again, because they were mint condition, complete in box, he would wrap them up as gifts and give them to his kids, who I was friends with. So I felt cool, I felt like, oh, I'm doing a good thing, blah, blah, blah. But now years later, I'm like, man, I wish I would have kept all those. Like, I don't know what, and I would just take the money and buy other games, which I would eventually sell back to this, sell to this guy again. It was like a never-ending vicious cycle of me just not having money or games eventually. But anyway, that's one of my biggest retro regrets. And then my other big one is I love the Sega Dreamcast. I have 3 of them right now. I own 3 of them now. One of them is my original one, but after I basically did the same thing as I did with the NES, I beat a bunch of games. I would sell them to the same guy, and then eventually I sold my Dreamcast to them. Years later, I bought it back from the same kids, but I never bought any of the games back. I just bought it to have it, and I regret getting rid of. I mean, I had the original Shenmue mint condition, all 4 discs plus the passport disc and whatever was on that. I forget the soundtrack. I think something like that. All the manuals, original Crazy Taxi, all that stuff. I had all these just tons of games that I got rid of, and I really kind of regret that. And again, I never bought them. Still to this day, I haven't ever bought a new Dreamcast game. I have downloads and burned copies, but that's it. So that's 2 of my biggest gamer regrets. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, this is Nate, RetroGamingDev from Twitter, and I just wanted to share one of my retro gaming regrets. Back in probably about 1995, maybe 96, I had a Sega Saturn. I had probably about 15 or 20 different games for it, including, the light gun for Virtual Cop, the Bug, Clockwork Knight, Panzer Dragoon, Virtual Highlight, which of course isn't the greatest game in the world. Virtual Fighter, I had a whole bunch of games for the system, and I traded it in for a PlayStation 1 and a handful of games, but nowhere near as many as I had for the Saturn. The big thing that I was really wanting was a PlayStation 1 and Twisted Metal. And I thought that Twisted Metal was definitely worth trading in all those different games for. Well, of course, Twisted Metal is a fun game. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of fun playing it. But I can't help but regret that decision. I had so many cool games for the Sega Saturn, and I haven't been able to reacquire a new system or any of the games, and probably won't. It's all very expensive now. So yeah, that's my retro gaming regret. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, so that was their regrets. I mean, I'm sure everybody's got their own. So the question for gamers is, what is your biggest retro gaming regret? What do you regret? It could be recently, it could be in the past, it could be, who knows? It could be anything. It could have just happened yesterday. And let's just have a discussion. Let's just open it up and, have some fun with this. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you think. Throw some comments below. I got some links down there. You can check them out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.